There's something strange happening in the world today. Something silent, invisible, but spreading fast. You see it in crowded subway stations. People packed shoulder to shoulder, yet each one alone, eyes glazed over, staring at phones, scrolling through endless feeds. But with that distant, empty look, like they're searching for something, but they don't know what. You see it in dimly lit apartments, where young professionals sit on the edge of their beds, fully dressed for work, but unable to move. Frozen, not because they're lazy, not because they're unmotivated, but because, deep inside, they're asking themselves a question they can't answer. Why am I even doing this? A quiet kind of suffering, the kind that doesn't scream, it just lingers for some. It feels like a low-grade sadness that never fully lifts. For others, it's anxiety that tightens the chest, even on days when nothing is wrong. And for many, it's that strange feeling of emptiness shows up in the middle of a party, during a vacation, or right after achieving something they've been chasing for years. They get the promotion, buy the house, reach the milestone, and then the question returns, louder this time, is this all there is? And here's the most dangerous part. The world doesn't pause to let you figure it out. Bills keep coming. Messages keep pinging. Social media keeps reminding you of how much better everyone else seems to be doing. So you push the question down. You distract yourself. Another Netflix episode, another scroll through TikTok, another night out, pretending to laugh. But late at night, when the noise fades, and it's just you and your ceiling, the silence becomes unbearable, because the truth is, we weren't made to live without meaning. We weren't designed for a life of endless distraction and empty accomplishments. You know, I once sat in a concentration camp, surrounded by death, starvation, hopelessness, and still, I saw something. A man giving his last piece of bread to another prisoner, a woman comforting a child, even with tears in our own eyes. In that place, stripped of everything, some still found meaning in a single act of kindness, in the decision to hold on, even for one more day. That's when I realized it's not our circumstances that destroy us, it's the absence of meaning within them. So, let me ask you something. Why do you think you're really here? What would make all your pain worth it? I know, these questions aren't easy. They're uncomfortable. They demand honesty, the kind that shakes you awake at 2 a.m. But that discomfort you feel right now, that tightness in your chest, that lump in your throat, that's not weakness. That's life. It's trying to get your attention. And here's something most people won't tell you. Feeling lost, feeling like you're drifting, feeling like none of this makes sense. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. And it means you're exactly where your story was meant to begin. Because today, I'm going to show you something. Do you ever feel like you're running, but going nowhere? Scrolling endlessly, jumping from one app to another, from one dopamine hit to the next. We wake up, check notifications before even leaving bed. We sit at our desks with 10 tabs open, answering emails while half watching a YouTube video, while texting someone back, while wondering what's for dinner. Night, we lie down, staring at the ceiling, wondering why. Why do we feel so empty? This isn't just you. It's not just a bad day or a bad week. It's something deeper, something structural, cultural, global. I called it the existential vacuum, a silent epidemic, one that spreads not through germs, but through meaninglessness. Let me explain. For centuries, people had answers to life's most difficult questions, rooted in tradition, religion, community, shared stories, passed from generation to generation. You didn't need to ask, why am I here? Because the answer was, it's inherited, lived, felt. You were a farmer, a mother, a craftsman, a healer, a neighbor. Your role, your place in the universe, was woven into the fabric of daily life. But then, we advanced, we industrialized, we globalized, digitized, and somewhere along the way, we lost something now. We have more options than ever, more freedom, more information, more entertainment. Yet, we've never been more anxious, depressed, disconnected. Social media shows us smiling faces, perfect vacations, success stories, highlight reels. But what it hides are the countless nights of crying into pillows. The Sunday afternoons where you feel like a ghost inside your own life. The mornings where getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain with broken legs. We're surrounded by distractions, yet starving for depth. We're connected to thousands, yet lonelier than ever. We're told to chase happiness, but nobody tells us that chasing happiness is often the very thing that makes it run away. You see, when life lacks meaning, we start filling the void with endless scrolling, mindless consumption, addictions, workaholism, toxic relationships, or simply numbness. And the more we distract ourselves, the deeper the emptiness grows. It's like we're all sitting in a waiting room, waiting for a train that never comes. We check the clock, we refresh the schedule, we pace back and forth, but deep down, we know there's no train. Not unless we decide to leave the station and start walking. And here's the thing. This isn't your fault. This is the design of the modern world. A system that profits, from your distraction, your insecurity, your longing for something more. They sell us temporary highs, quick fixes, surface level solutions, while the real wound remains untouched. But here's the good news. If you're feeling this emptiness, this restlessness, this quiet ache inside your chest, it means your soul is still awake, because only those who are still alive inside can feel the discomfort of a life without meaning. I want you to hold on to that discomfort. Don't run from it. Don't scroll past it. Don't numb it with another video or another distraction, because that ache is your starting point, the first crack in the shell before the light can get in. And in the next part, I'll share with you something that saved my life, even in the darkest places. A map, a way forward, my 7 steps to find meaning, even when the world feels meaningless. Not with shallow advice, not with motivational cliches, but with 7 steps that helped me and millions of others find meaning in places where it seemed impossible. This isn't just philosophy, survival. So, if you're ready, let's begin. Asterisk. Step 1. Face your suffering. When I was in Auschwitz, I learned the truth. Most people spent their whole lives running from. Suffering is unavoidable. Pain is part of being human. But here's the real tragedy. Most people don't suffer. They resist suffering. They deny it, numb it, distract themselves, or drown it in noise. But suffering, left unprocessed, becomes poisoned. It festers in the soul, turning into bitterness, cynicism, quiet despair. I'm not telling you to enjoy your pain. I'm asking you to face it. Look at it, name it, just sit with it. Because suffering carries messages, hidden lessons, opportunities for growth that no book, no guru, no motivational quote can offer you. Your suffering is your teacher, and when you finally stop running and stand in front of it, eye to eye, you begin the first step towards meaning. Step 2. Choose your response. There's a space, a sacred space, between what happens to you and how you respond. This is where your power lives. I called it, it's the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. In the camps, I saw people stripped of everything, food, freedom, family, but still, they chose kindness. They shared their last piece of bread. they comforted others in the darkest nights. That, with freedom today, you won't face a concentration camp. You will face betrayals, breakups, job losses, loneliness. And every time, you'll have two options: become bitter or become better, react or respond, blame or build. So, before your next reaction, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what meaning can I create right now? By the way, I choose to respond. Step 3. Embrace responsibility. Meaning doesn't come when life gives you answers. It comes when you decide to take responsibility for something beyond yourself. In the camp, I stayed alive because I felt responsible for my patients, for my research, for the possibility that maybe, someday, I could tell this story. Responsibility gives direction to your suffering and your life. Ask yourself, who or what needs me right now? Maybe it's a child, a partner, a project, a dream, or even your future self, waiting for you 5 years from now. Responsibility is the anchor that keeps you grounded when the storms come. You don't find meaning first, you take responsibility first, and meaning follows. Step 4. Transcend yourself. Here's the paradox. The more you focus on yourself, your happiness, your fulfillment, your problems, the more lost you become, because meaning is never found by looking inward forever. It's found out there in the world, in causes that matter, in people who need you, in work that leaves a legacy. I've seen people rediscover life. It's a moment they stepped outside their own suffering and chose to serve something or someone bigger than themselves. It's not about denying your pain. It's about transforming it by letting it fuel acts of love, acts of creation, acts of hope. So today, ask yourself, where can I step outside of myself and contribute, even if I still feel broken? That's transcendence. Test meaning. Step 5. Find meaning in love. Love. It's one of the purest sources of meaning we have, and not the Hollywood version. Not the scrawling in Daddy Naps version, but the kind of love that sees, truly sees, another human being as they are. In the camp, I survived many nights by holding on to one image, my wife's face. I didn't know if she was alive, but imagining her, her smile, her voice kept me alive. Love is the bridge between isolation and connection that makes suffering bearable. It gives purpose to long days. It creates a reason to keep breathing when everything else feels lost. So today, whether you love a partner, a parent, a child, a friend, or even a dream you haven't met yet, let that love be your anchor. And if you feel unloved right now, remember, even longing for love is proof that you're still alive, still human, still capable of connection. Step 6. Find meaning in work or creation. Work is not just about making money. It's about making meaning. When you create something, when you build, write, teach, design, care for others, you leave fingerprints on the world. It's that say, I was here and I made something matter. After the camps, I returned to my patients, to my books, to my lectures, because creating was my way of healing. For you, maybe it's music or painting, starting a small business, or raising your kids with love. Your work, whatever form it takes, is a form of resistance against the void. So build something, anything that outlives your suffering. Step 7. Find meaning in courage during suffering. Finally, the hardest truth of all. Sometimes there is no solution, no fix, no rescue. Sometimes life stays hard. It's for longer than we hoped. And in those moments, the only meaning is found in your courage. I watch people die with dignity in places where dignity shouldn't exist. They held their heads high. They whispered comforting words to others. They faced death with calm and love and grace. That is the ultimate human victory. when everything is taken from you. The last freedom is to choose your attitude toward your suffering. You may not control your circumstances, but you always control who you become beside them. So when life feels impossible and you can't fix what's broken, stand tall anyway. Smile if you can, cry if you must, but don't surrender your inner freedom, because meaning is not what happens to you. It's how you respond to what happens to you. Asterisk, you've heard the steps, you've listened to the stories, you understand the ideas, at least intellectually. But now, let me tell you the uncomfortable truth. Understanding is not enough, because meaning not found in watching another video or reading another book or nodding your head saying, yeah, that makes sense. Meaning, something you live, something you decide, something you do. Even when you're terrified, tired, or heartbroken, you're not here by accident. Out of the millions of videos you could be watching right now, you're here, listening to this, and maybe it's not coincidence. Maybe this is your moment, your invitation to finally wake up. There's a quote I wrote long ago, one that became my compass, especially when life felt impossible. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. You can't control your past. You can't erase what's been done. You can't stop the rain from falling or the world from hurting you again. But you can choose to become someone new in how you face it all. This is your turning point. Not because everything will magically get better overnight, but because, for the first time, you're ready to stop waiting for life to change. Start changing yourself from the inside out. I want you to pause for a second. Wherever you are, close your eyes if you can, and ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today to step toward meaning? Maybe it's making a phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's writing that page. Maybe it's saying I love you to someone, or apologizing, or simply getting out of bed tomorrow with a little more courage. This isn't theory anymore. This is life. And from this moment on, you're not just a spectator. You are the author of what comes next. Asterisk, you've walked with me through the weight of emptiness. You've felt the sharp edges of unanswered questions. Stood at the threshold between despair and awakening. And now, let me tell you something I wish someone had told me. In my darkest nights, you're not broken. You're just unfolding like a flower that looks dead in the heart of winter. But deep beneath the frozen soil, something is stirring, quietly, patiently. It's unseen by the world we often wait for. The sun to shine, for life to offer us a sign, for the pain to pass before we decide to live fully again. But the truth, meaning, isn't waiting for you on some distant horizon. It's not hiding in a book or locked inside another person's approval. Meaning is something you create, one small choice at a time, when you choose to get up, even with heavy limbs, when you choose to love, even with a bruised heart, when you choose to hope, even with tear-stained eyes. That's meaning. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need a grand revelation. You just need one small decision that honors your life, right here, right now. Maybe it's speaking the truth you've been afraid to say. Maybe it's letting go of something you were never meant to carry. Or maybe it's as simple as breathing deeply and saying to yourself, I'm still here, and I choose to stay. I've seen people find meaning, not in perfect moments, but in shattered ones, in hospital rooms, in prison cells, in lonely apartments at 2 a.m. 'Cause meaning isn't something the world gives to you. It's something you give to the world, through the way you show up, through the way you love, and through the way you refuse to surrender, even when every part of you wants to give up. So, if today feels heavy, the darkness feels thick, if you're standing at the edge of giving in, Let this be your reminder. The night always feels longest just before the sun rises. And even if you can't see it yet, light is coming, growth is happening somewhere inside you. Life is stirring again. You are not lost. You are not beyond repair. You are becoming, and maybe, just maybe, it's the meaning you've been searching for. It's already blooming quietly inside your next brave breath. So today, start with one small decision that says, I choose to live, even without all the answers. And when you do, you'll realize meaning was never something you had to find. It was always something waiting for you to create it. And from here, your story continues. Asterisk, if I could, I would sit with you on a park bench somewhere in the quiet hours before dawn. I would tell you that life is not waiting for you to figure it all out. It's waiting for you to participate. It's waiting for your trembling hands, for your imperfect heart, for your unfinished stories. You don't have to be whole to live fully. You don't need to understand everything to take the next step. You don't need to feel brave to act with courage. And you certainly don't need anyone's permission to start again, right here, right now, exactly as you are. There will be days when the meaning feels distant, when the silence inside you feels too loud, when even your reflection feels like a stranger. But even then, especially then, you're still worthy of trying again, of loving again, of hoping again, because life isn't asking for your perfection, only your participation. So, if this spoke to you, if something deep inside you stirred, there's even a small part of you that feels a little less alone now, then stay with me on this journey. Subscribe to this channel, not for me, but for you, so that every time you forget, every time the darkness feels close again, you'll have a place to come back to, a place where meaning isn't just a word, but something we build together, step by step, breath by breath, life by life. So, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. Let's keep walking this path toward meaning. Together, I'll see you, okay, in the next story. Asterisk.